Trust Part 8, understanding the UCC1 and the UCC3. And the UCC1 is the financing statement.
Correct.
The accompanying UCC3. Panel 2.
Right.
This is 21 panels, kids. So here's panel 2. Our objective is to get the case out of the public and into the private so we can submit our statement of interest to the judge in his or her chambers. The statement of interest indicates that we have claimed the trust by filing the UCC1 and UCC3. We have proof the trust has been created by the filing of the UCC1 and UCC3. This creates our special deposit for the case. We need to file the UCC1 and UCC3 plus a second UCC1 at the county level.
Okay, guys, let me try to clear this up for you because a lot of people are under the impression that we have to file all these kinds of documents. This is just one scenario. Each case is so different. In certain cases, people just walk in with the birth certificate, give it to the DA, close out a case. Another scenario is people have to file these UCC1s and UCC3s. Because I'm going to be honest with you, when you sign the document and you received your mail letter in the mail and they have a court date, nobody identified their trust. So now you guys are having to play catch up on all of this. You're having to figure out how this court has created this trust for you. Why is this trust being created? What is the name of the trust? It all does with the number of your docket or your court case number. And you have the liberty before you even walk into court to squash this case before it ever gets out in the public. And this is just one way that after it's been out in the public for so long and you've been in multiple court cases, this is just one way that we can try to take it back from us with this UCC1 and UCC3 process. There is other ways to do it, and I am testing the way, and when I get the results back, then I will explain the whole thing. But for right now, we're just going to explain the different scenarios and different ways that you can go through this at this time.
Okay, I accidentally opened 3, but we can go back over it. What we need to do first, we will need to create an envelope to ourselves and add the following documents to the envelope: the court case, the notice of intent, the statement of interest, the UCC1 to the Secretary of State of the state you're filing in, and the UCC1 to the county, the UCC1 to the Secretary of State, and the UCC3 to the county.
Okay, the reason I'm saying to do this, we're going to send this to us as registered mail or certified mail. And this is going to prove that we have control of these documents. Okay, so when you get the letter, you don't open it. You just keep it, because that's what the UCC1 is saying. Who owns this document or who owns this case? So if you put all this in a letter in a legal size envelope and you mail it to yourself and you never open it, and when it comes in the mail, you write private confidential on the envelope, it cannot be opened in court.
Okay. Panel 4. You do not have to worry about filing these documents first. We are just creating a private records. We're just creating private records that will be sealed by us and cannot be opened in a court of law on the public side. Make sure your statement of interest is in the package that you are mailing to yourself. Let me edit as I go.
Sorry, guys, I make errors.
Yeah. Hey, typos are no big deal. Let's clean them up now. Let's see.
I'm human.
Now,
you can
now
see
address
I'm not a robot.
Right. Now address the envelope to your address. You will want to send this registered mail. Mail it out. When it is returned, do not open this. These are your trust documents under seal, which cannot be opened. This proves your claim that you have a claim of property for the trust.
Okay, so basically this is a simple process or one process of claiming a trust. We have different processes of claiming a trust. We literally could write documents that would revoke the trust that was created by the executor, the judge, when we didn't step up and take over the trust. We can revoke it by writing a new trust. We'll get into that later. But what we're going to do, what we're going to deal on now is how can we take the property of the trust from the executor who created the trust? This is one way we can do it, because the court is in charge of the trust. They are the executors. They created it. We are the trustees. We do have power. As a trustee, don't look at us like we're, impotent little children. We have so much power, and nobody realizes how much power we do have. And they're the beneficiaries. Well, as a beneficiary has zero power in a trust, zero. All they do is wait for the grantor to give them what is their deserved, or wait for the grantor to die to receive what the grantor left them. So we have to look at it differently, guys. What we're trying to do is get the mentality of what's out there, the textbook or the law school mentality that they say is the way it should be. And really, we need to understand how it really is and how much power we really do have. And part of this is learning how to take back your power.
Okay. I think we jumped a little ahead of ourselves on that, but okay. That's no biggie. Number 5, how does this work? You first have to claim the title, which is our court case. If we do not have a title, we would need to create the title first before we claim the title. On the UCC-1, we are claiming the case number, which is our title. Now the title is mine. We now need 2 witnesses. The UCC-1 and the county recorder are the 2 witnesses we need. After filing the UCC-1, you will need to get a certified copy of your filings. The UCC-1 you file with the county is the same one you would have filed with the Secretary of State. They're interchangeable.
Right. It's exactly the same UCC-1 document. They're going to just be a mirrored copy of it. One is going to go to the Secretary of State. It'll be titled to the Secretary of State. The one that you file with the county will be titled to the county clerk's office. But they'll have exactly the same verbiage on it. They're interchangeable. But we have to file 2 of them, one with the Secretary of State and one with the county, because those are our 2 witnesses, especially when we receive them back as certified copies.
Okay. 6. Once I have claimed the title and it is mine, I need to move the title or transfer the title. We now need to assign the title, and that requires us to transfer it using the UCC-3. We're going to make a special deposit under the UCC-3. File the UCC-3 and pull out a certified copy of the record you have just filed. Now create the same record and file it with the county recorder's office. Now pull out a certified copy of the UCC-3 from the county. That gives us 2 records of our transaction.
So basically what we did is we claimed the title, and now we have to assign the title, because we want to hold title to this. But when you assign title, that means you're giving the responsibility, or like you're signing the beneficiary. Okay, so we own the title, and it's like, this is part of our trust. It's our trust res. It belongs to us now. And who's gonna benefit from it? Our beneficiaries. So we give it to them.
There you go. Panel 7. Now we have 2 records indicating we have made the transfer. This is the formation of the trust. We have created a special deposit now for the trust. We have proof because the UCC1, on the UCC1, we have claimed the title or the court case. Now we have our property and we can move the property to the trust. Now transfer the property to the trust and create the trust property or the res. This is when the trust is formed after we complete these steps.
Okay, so realize the court has created the trust under our name, okay? The trust is actually your court ID number or the filing number. And it really is two numbers. It's the DA case number and it's also your court number. So when you go into your court records, you see both of them. And then you see the date that it was created. That's the date the trust was created. So the date, the first filing date of your court date. So, I mean, if you get multiple letters from the court and they say date filed and the date is not the same as your initial records on the computer, you need to literally honestly look at the dates and the numbers that are associated with it online.
Okay, panel 8. Once we have transferred the property to the trustee, we will have proof we have formed the trust. When we filed the UCC1 with the Secretary of State, we filed our claim. The UCC1 we filed with the county is our second record of claim. When we file the UCC3 with the Secretary of State, we will be using the same words as we did on the UCC1, but instead of claiming the case, we are transferring the case. The same hold true when we file a UCC3 with the county. We are creating our second record of transfer.
So like I said, this is a little bit more complex. This is what a lot of people are using right now to claim the trust and transfer the properties, you know, from one person to another. It's a great way to do it if you have the time to do it and you understand how it's done. And this is what we're going to go over. And I think I'm going to show you the different records, and there's a certain verbiage you put inside of them. It's pretty simple. It's not that complicated. And like I said, this can work in a lot of cases and it will not work in a lot of cases. This scenario here is kind of a hit and miss scenario. It's going to depend on your judge. It's going to depend on your DA. It's going to depend on a lot of things. Right. So it's just one option you have right now if you want to try it.
Okay. Yeah, that's where those unknown unknowns pop in. Where the hell they find that? All right, panel 9. We have formed our trust. We have 4 certified copies of our documents we filed with the Secretary of State and with the county recorder. 2 certified copies of our UCC1 filing, 2 certified copies of our UCC3 filing. Anytime you have a present transfer of trust, res property, to a trustee, you have created your trust.
So remember, inside your trust, you are literally naming your trustee. So you're the grantor of the trust. You're going to be naming yourself as trustee because you're going to control the property. You're going to control the outcome. And as a trustee, you have the responsibility of protecting the grantor and protecting the beneficiaries. So you actually have the control. You have more control than you know you have.
Panel 10. All parties you need to form a trust is, intent, purpose, and parties to establish your trust. The special res for the trust has been named in the RA number and the case number assigned, the case number of your court case.
The RA number is your certified or your registration number from certification. It's mail registration.
Okay.
Yeah. It's the RA mail registration number is what that means.
Yeah, I have REs. So, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, some of them are RAs, some of them are REs. I'm not sure how they identify certified mail compared to registered mail. So I did look it up and it did say, you know, because we're getting certified documents, they call them RAs. Registered, they call them REs. So check that out, guys. Make sure it's correct because I'm just going by what they said.
Okay. So the special res for the trust has been named in the RA number and the case number to your court case, which is in the envelope that you sent to yourself, registered mail, and did not open, right, kids? Y'all did do that, right? Okay. Just making sure. Okay. You will be adding this documentation to the footnotes of any and all documents you will be filing with your case. This will identify your court case and all your added filing with the court as being the same thing. You have now accomplished the RA number with your case, or the registered mail number with your case. You can also reference the RA number to be a case number or an account number.
Because you own it now, you have the documentation, your envelope has your little sticker on the back of it. Each document that's inside that envelope is your certified copy from the filing of the original copies. So this is one way to create a trust in a hurry. If you don't want to sit down and, you know, do a whole lot of other documentations. This is one way a lot of people I've seen have benefited from it, have gotten court cases closed, have literally stopped foreclosure filing. Now, like I said, I've never been in court. I've never had to file any court cases. All I can basically do when I'm teaching this is to find, you know, people who have, read what they've written, ask them some questions, talk to them, and see what their process and procedures are. So every case is different. So every process and procedure is going to be different depending on what state you live in. Because if I told you Wisconsin, this works so well, and you're in Mississippi, well, guess what? Your statutes in Mississippi are not the same thing as Wisconsin. And you're going to try it in Mississippi, it's not going to work for you unless you can figure out what your statutes are and the regulations are in Mississippi and put the two together, which means research. That's why a lot of people fail. In one state, it works perfectly because the statutes say it does. In another state, it doesn't work at all.
So yeah, it's, you know, basically proprietary to its jurisdiction.
Exactly.
Yeah, where some things will work, some things you just got to do it a little bit different, you know. It's crazy. That's why you should do your own research. Don't just, like, you know, copy and paste everything and expect it to work like it did for the next guy. Sometimes it doesn't work that way. All right, panel 11. Any new motions you file with the court can be turned into a special deposit and turned into another trust. You will need to create a different RA number for each new trust you create. File the UCC1 and UCC3 with the Secretary of State and the county. In our filing and our statement of interest, we need to make sure we have the 3 bonds attached to this trust and we are recovering these bonds. It is very important that we give orders once the fines are paid that the disbursement of the bonds will be moved over to a nonprofit trust in our name. We will collect the interest from the bonds that we can use. We cannot touch the principal of these bonds, and that is why they stay in the trust.
Okay, so we do know that when a DA decides to prosecute you, literally what he has to do is he has to file his court papers, and he has to decide with who's ever in charge if this case is worth going after. When he does that, he has to file a SF-24, an SF-25, and an SF-25A with the court before he can open his case. That is called seeding the case. So when he seeds the case, he has to do it because, like, for an example, if he decided to prosecute me for who knows what, and I already have my trust, and I'm already in the private, and every one of my documents is moved into my trust. and he decides to prosecute me and go after me. And I walk into court, or I didn't even walk into court. I just basically send him some information and some certificates and say, nope, I'm not coming because I'm a private person and this is how it is. So if the DA does that and he wastes the court time, he wastes the prosecute, he wastes his office time, which is a lot of man hours and everything else, then what happens is those bonds pay for his faults. And so when these cases, they've actually paid the cases with these bonds that we didn't know about. And so basically we can recover these bonds and pay our cases with them. And then we can recover the rest for damages.
Right. That's the only way. All right. And the bonds she's talking about are the SF 24, 25, and 25A GSA bonds, standard forms. Okay.
Guys, you can even write your own. If you want to get out of these court cases, you can submit your own. I've seen people do that. So it's pretty, there's so many options out there. Don't limit yourself to just one.
Right. Order for settlement. Before you arrive in chambers, you will have filed Form 56, appointment of fiduciary, with the IRS assigning the judge and district attorney as your trustees of the trust. When we arrive in chambers and prove to the judge we have the trust created, the bonds in the background attached to our trust, when we assign the judge as trustee, we need to submit the order for settlement. In this order, you will discharge on the private side in order to set off on the public side. You'll need to put the order in and merge the titles. Once the titles are merged, there's no longer a trust.
Okay, let me explain this. It's sort of a turnaround. When we do this, what we're doing is we're actually doing what they did to us, and we're turning it around on them. So we do know that in a trust, there is the grantor, the trustee, and the beneficiary. The grantor cannot be all three positions, okay? There is people who say they can, there's certain people that say trust, you can be all three, but in reality, you really don't want to be all three. You do not really honestly want to be the grantor and the beneficiary, because you'll never get anything, because you're just waiting for yourself to die. So in this case, what I've done is, because the court made me the trustee, I had never accepted that position. I didn't know it was there, and they made themselves a beneficiary. So in order for me to break their trust, I literally have to give them two positions. Okay, I have to say, oh, you're the beneficiary. Now I'm reappointing you as the trustee. So they cannot be both at the same time. So this is like breaking their trust. And it's just a tactic that works maybe 20% of the time. And it works in more states. It works better in some states than it works in other states. Other states will not accept this tactic. So this is just a tactic, one tactic you guys can try.
In general.
Yeah, in general. I'm not saying it's going to work, guys. This is educational purposes. It's showing you different ways you can do things.
And it makes sense once, you can get everybody to act right. That's a problem. All right, panel 13. At this point, the trust must give you the disbursement because there's no longer a trust. At this point, the judge will become personally liable because there is no longer a trust to protect him. If he or she doesn't disperse the funds, he or she becomes personally liable. One of the orders you must create in the merging of the title is what your wishes are for the remainder of the account. You do not want this brought into the public. It has to remain in the private.
So basically, I'm just doing exactly what they just did to me. I am recovering everything because they named me the trustee. Okay, all right, if I'm the trustee, okay, give me back my affairs, give me everything that belongs to me, and let me put it back in my trust, because that's where it belongs. You're saying you're the beneficiary and you're holding on to this. Well, you can't hold on to trust property. It's not your property, but you want to keep it. So what I'm doing is I'm saying, okay, you want to be the beneficiary, you want to hold my property. So if that's the case, just be my trustee and hold my property. Now you have two positions in a trust. So now I just broke your trust. It's like a little game.
Right? Yeah. A little game. Huh. A little game. Yeah. All right, then. On your statement of interest and your settlement documents, you will need to give the order to move the rest of the funds into a nonprofit trust that you will create on the public side. By doing this, you will be generating interest on the public side from your new nonprofit trust you created from this court case. Okay. Can't see it. There we go. One thing that is so important to understand is before you can do all of this and get access to these funds, you first must change your master file with the IMF and the IRS. If we do not correct the master file with the IMF and the IRS first, they can hold up or freeze these funds. That is one reason why they're freezing the OID fund release, because nobody has corrected their master file.
See, this is a lot of the stuff, you know, on the W-4 sandwich packages. It's so complicated. You first have to start. I mean, we'll go over it in classes, you know, you guys are going to have to learn. And I'll go over it in these videos too. You guys are going to have to learn. The first thing you're going to have to do is create your estate. It's already created for you. Then once your estate is created, you have to create baby trust. And every baby trust has to go to a certain place. And all the baby trusts do is merge your titles together. And once you can control all of it and move it into your, you know, estate, you've got better chances to, you know, get these funds released and all kinds of stuff. It's just what they've done is layer everything so deep. And people are starting to break through the layers one at a time. And if one person breaks through one layer of this, you know, matrix that they're in, then they're running out in public and they're screaming, guess what? Guess what? I win. I win. Look at my check. Look at my check. Look what I got. Well, you know what that did? That just froze it for you. So when you do what he did, you're not going to get anywhere. Everything's got to stay in the private, guys. So once you understand something, don't go out there in the public and, you know, create all these videos of how you can do this and how your checks are and how wonderful this is, because they're going to shut you down. And then on top of it, they're going to take that check away from you. So you just lost everything. It's better to understand how trusts work, how you can protect that check, how you can get it, and how you can move forward. It's just the way it goes.
Yeah. It's just the way it goes, kids. That's it. Suck it up, put a Band-Aid on it. All right, panel 15. Make sure I'm in the right one. Okay. Basically a UCC1. Let's see how far I can blow this up.
Yeah, this is just like the address panel of the UCC1. So what I'm saying here is you put the last name of your trust. So in this right there, because it's a court case, you would put your name in all capital letters, write trust, and then put the number of the court case. All right. If it's a personal trust that belongs to you personally, whatever you've named your trust, DWJ, DKE trust, whatever you want to call your trust, you can call it. And you would put that name there. So you put in your email address and then you put in your address. Okay. So I like writing my addresses like this because it literally takes me out of the military zip code postal service and puts me into the private postal service, because I think we are going to do that one, aren't we? About the 999 and 998 of the postal codes. We were talking about that, right?
Yes.
Okay, good. I thought I was wrong or something. Okay, so I just like writing it like that. So down here, you can see you have to name the court and the court case number. So the court case number there matches your trust number at the top.
Right.
And you put in your courthouse address and everything else.
Right. Panel 16.
So this one down here is where the important is, down in the notice. That's where you really got to be careful. And this is where you're recovering it and you're pulling it into your trust. So you're going to recover it in this area by taking it away from them. So it basically, states that you're in there, your RA number is the registered mail number or the number that, you pulled off your certificate. It's the certificates, you get back from the courts and stuff like that. Okay. So you're basically, it's just a couple words that you write in here, and this recovers the case.
Yeah, box for collateral. And panel 17.
Yeah, you just check these boxes here when you're checking them. You want to make sure you check the correct boxes, and you don't need to check all these other boxes. A lot of things, people say, check all these boxes. I've seen people fill out forms and check every single box on the form. And I'm just like, okay, why are we checking all these boxes? Let's see what they really mean. So before you guys just go marking up papers and checking boxes, kind of look to see what they are and see why you would use it. Or if it means, just because it's there, don't check it.
Yeah. So in box 5, it's collateral is held in a trust. 6A, nothing is checked. 6B is non-UCC filing.
We always want to do non-UCC filing, because that means that it's not public filing. That means it's private filing.
Yeah.
And we are moving the property, the court case, into the trust. So this is one way to not have to create a complete trust, do a whole bunch of paperwork, make like 50 pages or 100 pages to create a trust. It's a simple solution to, take the property and put it into the trust.
Right. Okay.
Or take the court case, claim the court case.
There's a little memo space right here. Y'all can put some stuff in that you add optional to this. It doesn't have to do with the collateral. That can be anything.
So guys, when you're signing this, remember I was telling you before, always say who you are. Sign it by grantor. You can also sign it by trustee, but you're the grantor of the trust, and you're recovering your property. That's why I would sign it as a grantor, because I want my property back. I want to reclaim my trust property.
There you go.
Okay, this is the UCC3. It's going to basically be filled out exactly the same way. The only thing in this one is we literally are going to change one word in what we typed before, from recover to transfer. And it's going to be down in our description, where we have taken control of it and now we need to transfer it. And so this is our transfer document. It's just like writing, a transfer slip or a transfer of ownership. So look at it like that. You bought a car, you received the car from the person. Now the person has to transfer the ownership of the car to you. So these are basically what we're doing. If the person didn't give me the car, then I have to go take the car. So I'm recovering my car, or I'm recovering my property in the first document. And in the second document, I'm transferring my ownership of my property. Simple way to look at it.
Okay. All right. And then right here, box 3, the assignment is checked off.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. Panel 19. Nothing in panel 5.
No.
Nothing in panel 6. Nothing in panel.
It doesn't apply to us.
Yeah. And then
Yeah.
panel 7's the courthouse judge name, whatever that is.
Mm-hmm. And the address of the courthouse. Nothing else applies to us. We don't need to do anything else. And then down here, you're going to see where we have transferred. It's in the second line, and it's called investment transfer by number. So that's the key. That's the only word you change right there. That line right there.
Instrument transferred by number right here.
Correct.
Yeah. Blow that up a little bit so y'all can see it. Okay, that's right.
So if you look at the one above it, it's a recovery. If you look at this one, it's a transfer. One word. That's all it needs. One word changed.
Okay.
If you go ahead and go back up to the other one and blow it up, and you can see on the second line where it coincides with the word.
Second line right here. This one?
No, go to the UCC one. The one on the UCC one.
That one?
Yeah, that one. Blow that one up. And then you can see where it is. Okay, come down. You're a little bit too high. Right here.
Mm-hmm.
Here it says claim. Do you see? Claim. We're claiming it. The other one says transfer. Those are the only place you change. The other one, the other document says it is the non-negotiable transfer. This one says it's the non-negotiable claim.
Okay.
And it's exactly the same word. The same is on both documents. One you claim, one you transfer. Those are the only two words you change.
Okay. And where does that put us? Right here. Yeah, we're on panel 19, correct?
We should be on 20. We just finished 19.
Yep.
I just made you go back up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So here in number 9, we put our trust name. And that's all we need to put in here. We don't need to fill out anything else. And then we're going to sign it. And then we take it in, we file it. And there is filing costs and filing fees. And you have to pay for it. And then you want to get your certified copy.
Okay, right here you have first comma last name trust. Right here. That's supposed to be last comma first.
But a lot of states, they don't pay attention to it.
I've never seen first comma last name trust. What this other one looks like. Yeah. Oh man. My power just almost went out. Thank you for hanging around after the show. I want to present to you
tailor-made trust featuring LeFlore's Trust Series, available at tailormadetrust.com, as well as the fearlessfloydshow.com store. Here are a handful of the available trusts that can be built, custom tailored to your needs and desires. 25 different trusts, plus the DNA Trust Addendum. And as always, LeFlore's classic trusts and ancillary classes, and also Ann's books on trust and specialty trust, which I also co-authored. If you'd like to get a class, a book, or have a trust custom built for you, always available at the fearlessfloydshow.com store. And I'll see you in the next show. Thank you for watching and have an awesome day.